just making sure I've got the right link out. Happy Monday. It is the week of Thanksgiving and Black Friday. So if you're in the States like me, it's a great day for eating and I guess shopping. All right. Yeah, it's let's see, we'll go take a look at Bitcoin here first. On the what's the index one? Yeah, it's just pulling back to the tank and center. So this will be a pretty telling spot to pay attention to right here at the 94,300 level. That's going to be the most important one to pay attention. All right, we got the site. Yep. I think so. I mean, it looks great. I mean, overall, it's listen, the people who get the most discouraged when you see a pullback in crypto after a big rally are people who've been in crypto for a long time, because even after some altcoins have had these stupidly insane gains, it's the pain of the length of the bear markets hasn't even been dealt with yet, if you know what I mean. Like it's still a painful process that makes any sense. Now, why is that stream not right? Let's see. Yeah, I'm trying to find the, just on like the other screen here, just making sure that the link is correct. Yep. It should be. Yeah. I mean, if we look at, so Bitcoin's market dominance, that's the chart we're going to look at the most right now today, is that dominance chart, because that is the one that is going to have the most influence on whether there's an alt season or not. Mm-hmm. Right. If you think so. I mean, there's a lot of different ways you can look at it. I mean, look how fast the drives up went, and just keep in mind that as the inverse can happen too, and that the reactive moves off of something strong off of strong moves is somewhat of the same strength. Forget how that saying goes. Every action, there's an equal or opposite reaction. Whether you believe that or not. Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, so if we look at, say, let's see. Well, first off, let's look at the total market cap. So the total market cap is down to 3.2 trillion. No biggie. You know, the if we looked at the daily chart, whenever we've looked at the Ichimoku Kinko Hyo system, you know, we look a lot at the bodies of the candlesticks in relation to the Tenkan-sen, at least in the short term, to determine whether or not things are going to pause, halt, move on. I think when we looked at this on Thursday and Friday, we also, you know, I also talked about how that is the thing to look for, whether it doesn't matter the chart or the time frame. If there are big gaps between the bodies of the candlestick and the Tenkan-sen, which is this blue line, sometimes called the turning line or the conversion line, that is, those gaps tend to come back to equilibrium. That is, with equilibrium is reestablished when the bodies of the candles and the Tenkan-sen are closer together. But we did have 3 days of some pretty big gaps there. Now, looking at the altcoin market with Ethereum, hanging out there at 1.33, and then the total market cap excluding Ethereum, it's at these multi-month highs. And last week, the high of horizontal line here. This is back at December 27th, 2021. So essentially we were at like 3-year highs. And again, you know, the market caps, total crypto market cap, like Bitcoin, has hit new all-time highs, but the altcoin market cap has not. And this is an interesting kind of look here. So if you look at, here's the all-time high at 1.13 trillion to where we're at now, we're still down 20% from that all-time high. The total market, the altcoin market cap, including Ethereum, though, still down 22.23%. And if you've been paying attention to the altcoin market caps, the one without Ethereum and the one with Ethereum, you will notice that for a lot of the last couple weeks, the altcoin market excluding Ethereum has been outperforming. But today we're seeing a little bit of a difference. And why? Well, because Ethereum is in the green. Bitcoin's in the red, Ethereum's in the green. Although Ethereum was a little higher, it did get up to 3,500 earlier today. And this is the same trend line we're looking at that we've looked at last week. This is the kind of make or break point, this $3,500 level. This trend line is the next major source of this is the last primary resistance level for Ethereum. And that is similar to Dogecoin as well, where but it's past it. If you look at, oh wait, look at something else here. Oh no, yeah, Dogecoin is on track for its highest monthly close ever. It's holding up pretty nicely, even though it's down 6.44%. But if we look at some of last week's big movers, like Stellar, I mean, Stellar's right up against its like really its last primary resistance level. That is it. I mean, it's insane, really, when you think about how much it moved. It like over the month, it's up 445%. Last week, it closed up 173%. I mean, it's just been a very, very fast and dramatic move. I mean, this thing has moved from 9 cents to as much as 63 cents in less than 20 days. And you can tell that there's some, like, this almost looks a little bit like what you saw with Ethereum, Ripple a little bit, Solana, and Bitcoin. The price action behavior, at least just in the short term here, looks very much like what you see. I haven't pulled up the on-chain analytics for it, but it looks very much like you see some front running for ETFs happening here. So that could be a big thing to look out for. But not all of the alts are down. The ones that were laggards, Secret Network. I'm irritated with this one because I've had this on my watch list for a while, and they've joined something with Nvidia. I forgot what it is, so that by itself is enough to jump it up. But I'm looking at Bitcoin dominance chart. If you remember when we were discussing this last week, that this is the chart you want to pay attention to see if there is an incoming alt season. And the best way to determine that, or at least I think the easiest way, is by observing the weekly and the monthly Bitcoin dominance chart. Because if there's if there's a candlestick that has just a very, very strong sign that bullish momentum is about to pause, or that a bearish reversal is in order, then that is really the sign of alt season. Because if you look at prior, and there haven't been many alt seasons before, really, you can probably only consider there's only ever been one real alt season. But when you look at price action from February 17 through February 18 on the dominance chart, and then specifically through December, really the fall of 2020 all the way through early 2022, you'll see that Bitcoin's dominance chart dropped from the 70s and 60% range down into the 30s and 40s, really just the 40s. And why is that? That's because Bitcoin's market cap, the control of its market cap, has dropped. That doesn't mean Bitcoin dropped. Doesn't mean Bitcoin lost a ton of value. What it means is that the altcoin market had so much money flowing into it that it was overtaking a lot of Bitcoin's dominance. So when you're looking at things like Ripple, Stellar, Cardano, some of the other altcoins that had huge moves over the last week, which when you look at this, I should have looked at week over week, but we'll look at the monthly. Yeah, I'm surprised the Sandbox doing so well. Hedera, Cardano. I mean, all of these instruments that have had these big moves really haven't budged the needle much on Bitcoin's dominance. But when I'm looking at this on the Ichimoku system, I definitely see signs that we might see congestion and consolidation forming for at least the altcoin market. Why is that? Well, if you treated this like any other type of trading chart, which you can, I mean, if we have data to create a candlestick chart, we have data to create an Ichimoku chart, then we can use it as a form and a basis of analysis. Now, when you're looking at the move here, it's halted up against the bottom of the cloud, which is Senko Span B. That's the strongest level of support and resistance within the Ichimoku system. The cloud isn't thin, but it's not overly thick. It's about like a standard looking cloud. And essentially what this means is it's kind of stuck in a suck zone. Like when I say suck, I mean like bad. This is just kind of signaling the season of suck. And there's big gaps now between the bodies of these candlesticks and the Tenkan-sen, which is up here. But the thing to look out for is any daily close now below the cloud. That's going to be the first warning. The big warning is going to occur when the lagging span or Chico span right here, when this closes below the cloud. And that won't happen till it moves back down to, at least over the next 4 or 5 days, 57.7%. If the lagging span closes down there, then that is a that's a really big heads up for Bitcoin's dominance that Bitcoin is likely to just kind of maybe even lose a little bit, but not move up anymore. And it's don't automatically think that, like, when there's a rotation of capital within the alt season metric, at early on it's easy to think, oh, the entire move has been bearish, the entire move is just going to get faded because you see Bitcoin dropping a little bit. That's not the case. Very typical to see Bitcoin up here face some weakness while you have the altcoins are playing a lot of. This is where a lot of like altcoin traders really make a lot of the money, because they look at the rest of the altcoin market. They try to identify the laggards, the ones who haven't moved yet, the ones who haven't made their big gains. And if you remember, we were doing some of that last week when we were looking at all these different cryptocurrencies, all these altcoins, and we were looking at specifically what they are doing on the weekly charts. And so I was talking about how things below their weekly charts below the weekly cloud are clear laggards in the space. So we saw OX was there, Zilliqa's one, not Horizon anymore. Zcash is still above the cloud, which is weird. I mean, this guy's been beaten up, but Zcash just had his halving on Saturday, I think. Second ever halving. Let's see, XTZ Tezos here. Down 10%, but it did close the week above the cloud. And this technically fulfills what's needed for an ideal bullish Ichimoku breakout. Because of where it closed, because of where the Tenkan-sen is and all that, I mean, I would not be surprised to see Tezos spend this week and next week kind of stuck in this $1.15 to $1.30 range. So we'll see how that plays out. Ripple obviously doing very well. Yeah, we can do that. We had somebody PM'd question about using the I don't know if you're trying to trick me on my knowledge or if you're asking the real question, but on the time span principle within Ichimoku. Interestingly, Goichi Hosada, the guy who created the Ichimoku Kinko-Hyo system, him and Gan were a lot alike. They probably didn't even know each other existed, because Gan died in the 50s, and Hosada didn't die till the 80s. Anyways, but both Gan and Hosada viewed time as the most important factor in markets, and that doesn't really get stressed a lot in Western analysis of when you look at the Ichimoku Kinko-Hyo system. It's not really stressed at all, but that was what took up a good chunk of Hosada's original work. And what Pat is if I name drop, what Pat's asking is to see that time span principle utilized on you can pick it, Pat, that's fine. So we got Monero, 160, Stellar, it's above the cloud, WorldCoin, doesn't even have a full cloud yet. Dogwave Hat doesn't even have a full system yet. VeChain closed above the cloud. It's like a lot of these altcoins we looked at last week, Wednesday and Thursday and Friday, that were below the cloud. All of a sudden now above the cloud, which could just be the altcoin market signaling that it is getting ready to pamp. Stacks is still below the cloud. That surprises me. Solana, SHIB. Solana, of course, pump.fun. Oh my god, the stuff going on there is definitely not cool. Not a good look for Solana. SHIB is just on a tear. Hey, what was this? Pump.fun removes its live streaming feature. Not a bad idea, as I was talking about that. I don't know if you've been paying attention, but there are people who are live streaming on Pump.fun doing things like, I'm going to shoot my dog, I'm going to kill myself, I'm going to hang myself, I'm going to torture. I mean, just like horrible, I mean, the degenerate stuff on Pump.fun, like guilting people into doing something to pump their token up so they don't commit a violent act on themselves or others. I mean, it's funny but not funny, because that is the meme coin Solana ecosystem for you. All right, say it's the secret network above the cloud. And also, it's totally possible that after these moves that we've had the week before Thanksgiving, that we won't see really any other major crazy moves like this until after after we get into 2025. Because from a weekly chart perspective, you look at how extended the closes from the Tenkan Sen and the Kijun Sen on a lot of the altcoins. It's going to take a few weeks for it to return to equilibrium in time. It'd be great if price were to just zip on down there this week. We close around there, and then we can say, okay, cool, we've returned to equilibrium. Let the pamping begin again. I have a feeling things are just going to congest for a while, and then as time moves on and the Tenkan Sen moves closer to the bodies of the candlesticks, then we'll start to see it jump up again. We'll see, though. Rune. Still below the cloud. I'll make sure I give it enough time to go check on what that's called is the time span principle in Ichimoku is to identify what's known as the Kihon Suchi, which is the day of the turn. And it's a relatively simple kind of, it's really, what's cool about it is how I learned how to use GANs, time cycles to trade and identify swings, like the time, not like the high, not the price levels of the high, but at least identifying a time period where you go, hey, this is a cluster of dates to pay attention to. This is the same thing that you do with Ichimoku. So it was really validating to me as like a GAN analyst to, learn more about Ichimoku and see how that same theory, concept, idea, and belief of how markets are structured and move was developed by another great analyst, Goichi Hosada. Near is above the cloud now. Miner Protocol is not. That might be a good one to look at. Man, look at last 86% for Decentraland. That's got to be the biggest monthly. Is that like the biggest monthly ever? No, but it is the biggest since October 2021. Isn't there anymore? Litecoin just completed its the ideal bullish Ichimoku breakout on the weekly chart. What we looked at those scenarios a lot last week. Blisk still below, Loopring still below, Link is above. Yeah, so I mean, a good chunk of this altcoin market, especially by the names we're looking at, the ones that are like in the top 25, top 50. Yeah, a lot of them are right at the very beginning of where you would anticipate things going boom. Hello, spam. What in the world is going on here? Hey, bro, open your mail destroy. Very strong community. No idea what Maelstrom is. Injective protocol. Surprise, this one's still below its weekly cloud. Make a note of this one. Illuvium. Not surprised that one's not. I don't. Illuvium might be a kind of a. I don't know. I don't see a lot happening for it fundamentally. Icon. Oh, this one's still below too. That is, bro, you are doing well. I think it's a bot. Internet Computer Protocol also still below the cloud. That's interesting. The do I know when the bull run will start? Yeah, I mean, really, it's already happened. So from an Ichimoku perspective, the thing holding ICP back here is the lagging span, the Chiku span, and the body of the candlestick acting as resistance. But more importantly, because the Chiku span is just a copy of, it's just a mirror image of where price is at currently. That's all it is. So I mean, if we were to turn this bar chart into a line chart, they're mirror images. It's just this is thrust back 26 periods. You've got the top of the cloud here, bottom of the cloud rather, single span B. It's flat. It's been flat for a long ass time, which means it's very strong. So be very careful about the longer it is flat, the stronger it is. But how the cloud works is the closer the two lines that make up the cloud, Senko Span A, which is the green line, and Senko Span B, which is the red line, the closer these lines get, the weaker the cloud becomes. So essentially for ICP, every week that we move on all the way into the beginning of 2025, this has a very high chance of breaking out. And where ICP has been a leader amongst all the altcoins for a while, right now it is lagging everyone because it's not above the cloud yet. Adara, it's like all of these alts in just 1 week, 1 to 2 weeks, just decided we're going to put ourselves into the most bullish confirmed entry condition possible within the Ichimoku system, and we're just going to let it see what happens. The graph still below the cloud. Gala. It's just somebody on Slack just sent this pump.fund dev was shooting out his window every time his coin pumped. Makes sense. Phantom. Flow. Yeah, so I don't know about you, but I'm making an internal list in my head of looking at the altcoins that are not yet above the cloud, because these ones are the laggards who still have yet to make a big move. And I really like Flow's because this is, like I mentioned last week, Flow's weekly chart is positioned to do something that's quite rare in the Ichimoku system. Oftentimes, the Chiku span is what's called like the triggering event. So for a lot of the more conservative entry conditions, within Ichimoku, the Chiku span needs to close above the cloud for bullish confirmation below the cloud for bearish confirmation. We're not bots, we are living people. Okay. You never know. We are the army of shillers of the Melstroy token. If you let me know which exchange I can look at it on, I have no problem taking a peek at it. Let me see, is it available on TradingView? No, it's on Uniswap. You will find an opportunity. I don't know about that. Well, let me go back to Flow. Let me know if you folks who are here are part of a very big spam army. You let me know if this is the right ticket token or not. Ticker. So Flow is rare in that the lagging span is closed above the cloud before price has. That just doesn't happen that often. It's just very wonky. But if we look at the ones that we've looked at, say ICP, INJ, Injective Protocol, Flow, the Graph. I mean, these are those four are very solid names, and if I don't answer the question or just need to get acquainted with the project, you will understand what we're moving. As an old school analyst, the project actually really doesn't matter. It's just the chart. So those four, like we just kind of like the Flow, Injective Protocol, Internet Computer Protocol, and the Graph. Four is very solid cryptos that have been around for a long time. They're below the cloud. They're the laggards. I plan on looking at those for some entries here because they're just clearly lagging the market. Filecoin. Fetch. Fetch is really just in the suck zone here. It's weird. I mean, I don't know when the AI coins are going to pump again, but this is like one of the biggest market cap ones because it includes, well, Fetch. The Fetch token is now the token for the artificial superintelligence lines. I don't know when they're swapping that, but Fetch is made up of Ocean Protocol, Singularity Net, and now Kudos. I think they're finalizing the integration of Kudos. Let's see, Ethereum Classic. See, if Ethereum Classic is above the cloud like it is, didn't close above the cloud on the weekly, but it got pretty damn close. If Ethereum Classic looks like this, and Injective Protocol, Internet Computer Protocol, Flow, and the Graph are not, that's wonky to me. EOS. Engine Coin 2. But this is kind of odd that it's still. Ooh, Multiverse X. I don't remember what day it was last week, but when we looked at the Ichimoku system, I was talking about how one of the more contemporary books on Ichimoku, written by Kunitz. What's his first name? Last name is Kunitz, Koonitz. His second edition of the Ichimoku system. That's, by the way, I used to recommend that Karen Paleoli's book is the first one that you would get if you want to learn more. But his is actually Charles Kunitz. That's his name. His is the best, I think, right now, if you want to get into the Ichimoku system and learn about it. One of the things that he talks about, like at the end, is, looking at how to identify opportunities in what's called I think he calls it the forgotten zone or the lost zone. It's this area where we're below the cloud, so most of the traditional Ichimoku entry you don't do anything here. Like, you do not even look. There's no long opportunities to look at because we're below the cloud. But he identified some criteria that could that how does he word it? I'm trying to think of the justification of the wording of the justification he uses. I don't want to put words in his mouth or misquote it, but anyways, having price above the Tenkan Sen and the Kijin Sen, and the Tenkan Sen pointing up while the Kijin Sen is flat or pointing down, and then most importantly, the Chiku span above the candlesticks. All of those conditions are true on Multiverse X's chart, EGLD. So this chart fulfills all of those early aggressive entry ideas that Kunitz posted. He's also the only contemporary Ichimoku analyst that I've read where he actually puts in a second set of values to use. So the default settings within the Ichimoku art system are 9, 27, and 52. 9, 26, and 52. The reason I use 27 is because I use Optimus trading software, and that is where I do a lot of my analysis on. And for whatever reason, trading views is one period off. I don't know why. So yeah, these are like, you never change 9, 27, 52, 9, 26, 52. You never change those. But he suggests maybe doing that. Didex still down below. Polkadot. Polkadot had a really nice late run last week. Dogecoin, obviously Dogecoin sitting there. I mean, you look at the candles in relation to, you know, we're still not even a full day into the first day of the weekly candle. But so far things look pretty healthy. Yeah, even Dash closed above its weekly cloud. Curve Finance. Cody didn't. Huh. Compound did. Funny. Yep, Bitcoin sitting up here. Weekly chart for Bitcoin, you're like this at dominant interior angle. Looked at that last week a lot too. All right. Let's just see here. Keep going up. Good about bonk. AVAX. AVAX was up quite a bit today. I mean, man, it just got hammered south. I mean, was up here. Yeah, it was up like 13.9% at one point today. And then it just got punched in the mouth. Strong bounces off the bottom of the cloud, though. It might pick up from here. We'll see. Actually, almost closed above the cloud last week. Cosmos, almost. Aptos. I think Michael Sonnenheim and somebody else from OpenAI, they just joined the advisory board of Aptos, if I read that correctly today. ApeCoin. Ape Chain just got posted something about that. Who was it? Sui, I think? No, not Sui. Pancake Swap. No, Sushi Swap. Sushi Swap now has aggregating Ape Chain. Kosh Network. What's that? Algorand. Good job, Algorand. Nice move. Cardano. Holding on to one. That's going to be the level to watch for Cardano. It's a joke for anybody who's been in Cardano. God, I've been Cardano since 2017. The joke is that Cardano is a stable coin and its value is 120 because it's spent so much time of its price history at $1.20. And Aave is one of the few that's doing pretty well today in the green. Just like so much money in Aave's ecosystem. It's like the Bitcoin of lending protocols. It's a staggering amount of money is on that platform. All right, but let's look at I don't know if you're still here, Pete, but it regained its peg. Yes, not quite. Needs 20 more cents to go to get back to that $1.20 peg. And then we'll be there. So we got enough time to take a quick peek at how the time span principle works, maybe. On the daily chart. So this is basically not identifying, the time that something happens, or sorry, the price, but the time. So in Ichimoku, there's a series of numbers. If I should, maybe by tomorrow I'll get this planned out, but like 7, 13, 7, 13, 26, 42. These are numbers that were identified by Goichi Hosada as important ones to look at. So the idea is that you identify like a swing low, swing high, or the point of a breakout, and you press forward, that number of days. So the next number day to pay attention to here is 26. So then 17 was one of them too. But also you measure how many candles it took to create that swing. And so we'd say there's 18. Close. And then you would project forward another 18 days because that would give you an idea of when. Is this another Ichimoku day? Not really. It's in between two. But in a nutshell, very, very, very basic looking here. The time when you could expect to see Bitcoin reach a swing low is December 11th. That's just a very rough look. It's probably very, very off, but just like showing you the time span principle. There's not a lot I can talk about in like 10 minutes, but projecting using the Ichimoku numbers. And actually, let me just give you those other numbers. 9, 17, 26, 33, which are useful in down markets. 42 was the other one. What do you say here from here? That is 33, 42. No, not anywhere close there. Yeah, you can use it on weekly time frames too, because all we're doing is measuring the number of candles, not really the days. So, you know what? I'm going to make a little note here because it'll probably be a slower week. This actually might be something fun to go over. To do the time span principle basics. Gihon Sushi. you think it is institutional and big whale money buying up ADA recently with this run, or is it retail? There's one way to kind of get a good peek at that. Let me pull up sentiment. And we can look up Cardano. And we can look at the network activity. Let's see, transaction. Oh, no, wait, I want to see. Trying to think of the label that they use for it. Let's check out the active addresses. Wow, that's moved up quite a bit. Let's see, transaction volume table. Oh, sorry, that's not what I wanted. Wait, am I not logged in? Is that what's going on here? That's exactly what's going on here. Okay, let's look. Network activity. I want to see the inflows, outflows. Oh, on-chain labels. Wait, where's that? Well, let's try into the block. Into the block, we want Cardano. Network. Okay, so this is funny. For a long time, the end of the money did not look like that at all. 68% of hodlers in the money. See, you want to see outflow volume. What? Talking about that's unavailable. Actually, it's not. Sentiment doesn't seem normal. I mean, from a price action perspective, Matthew, it looks very much like the volume I was looking at just from the normal vertical volume that you can look at. Looks very heavy to looks very much like there's a possibility of front running an ETF. That's it. If it's not measuring, measure net flows. Oh wait. Let's go back here. Doesn't even show. Yeah, that's wonky. Well, maybe it gives us something on derivatives. Open interest, not massive. Yeah. You know what? Yeah, it's especially because a lot of that was happening. Um, I mean, one of the ways that you can tell that, Matt, is by measuring social volume, like the social volume like from social media, like using like Google or some of like Santiment does measure social trends. You know, you can look at trending words, and it'll talk about trending coins as well. So it's tracking things on Telegram, Discord, Google searches, you know, anything in between to measure how much people are talking about something. When you look at like Bitcoin and Ethereum and Solana and Ripple, and especially the last two cryptos that we have like major ETFs for, Bitcoin and Ethereum, you see, like, even though social volume was really low, there was a stupid amount of volume happening in the over-the-counter markets. There was just a lot of outflows going on. Same thing happening with a lot of the altcoins right now. A lot of the ones that pumped like the last couple weeks. So, and yeah, the other thing that makes me think those are front-running ETFs is that people, these institutions, are going to want to get onto the ETF ballgame and expecting an easier time to get them listed with a new administration. And which altcoins were pumping? You saw some people on X call them dinosaurs. Stellar, Hedera, Cardano. Yeah, like compared to some of the other cryptos out there, they are dinosaurs. But they've been around, they've been established, they've been vetted. I mean, like, it's easy for the first tranche of risk people at these institutions to look at them and feel safer about them. I mean, hell, Grayscale's already got a lot of them in some form of their ETNs. Van Eck has them in the European ETNs. So it makes sense then too that, I mean, if you're going to create an ETF for some of these, you're going to have a supply. And honestly, I don't think a lot of the OTC desks really carry a bunch of them. There haven't been real demand to, so maybe they just have to do it on the open market. I don't know. Just theorizing here and then making theories on top of theories. But anyways, that's going to do it for me. I'm going to take a